Hola! Hey guys, Sarah Noked here. Welcome back to my channel. I am really glad that you're here because in today's video, I really want to speak to some of the things that I would have done differently if I was starting my business this year in 2022, right? So my life has changed, I've got like 3 kids now, toys all over the place. I finally have my office. So I think it's always really easy to look back in hindsight and be really hard on ourselves about like what I should have done, what I could have done better. So starting a business is a very daunting endeavor. I know those of you listening here and watching this video here today will agree with me that you might feel a little bit of procrastination paralysis. You might feel like, should I do this? Is this the right time for me to do this? And you will constantly be grappling with those notions in your mind. And let me be the first to say that there's not gonna ever be this like magical, amazing time where, the waters part and it's like, now is the time to do this. Recognize that. And if you are really interested in starting your OBM business, just get started. That might mean investing in hiring a coach or taking a course, joining us inside of OBM school, speaking with other people who have done the OBM thing before, checking out some of our videos around a day in the life to get a better feeling, to get that motivation, and to just know that, okay, I got it, I'm gonna get started, here's my plan. That's my first tip. I wish that I would have started sooner rather than later. I literally dragged my feet for 2.5 years in corporate. I actually had to give birth to my daughter to actually give my resignation at work, even though I had been on maternity leave and I wasn't coming back. I wish I would have sort of taken the bull by the horns and just been like, I'm leaving and I'm starting my own business. But instead I sort of dragged my feet for a really long time. So don't do that if you can avoid doing that. And just recognize that you can do this. This is the year to do this. It's a great industry to get into. There's a lot of flexibility. A lot of people are doing it. You can do it too. Okay, so that's my first juicy thing. And I really want to drive that home because I feel like I speak with women every day who have these amazing credentials, amazing transferable skills, and they're still not ready to get started. And it's like they're waiting for this magical notification from life, and you're just not going to get that. Your body's physiologically always going to try to keep you in this safe space of comfort, right? It doesn't want you to feel, nauseous that you're, oh my God, out of your comfort zone or exhausted because maybe you've been staying up late working on your business, whatever that looks like to you. Now, my next tip, I really want you to focus on building relationships. This is definitely the most important part of your OBM business is the relationships you forge with other OBMs, whether you're inside of our Confident OBM community or one of our paid communities, or you have a network of women in your life that are doing this sort of thing. Oftentimes when I speak with individuals who are wanting to start an OBM business or who are just getting started, maybe they haven't yet gotten 100% clear on who their ideal client is. And honestly, that does take quite a little bit of time. It took me 2 years. So you might not know who your ideal client is, but you have a network of different people in your life that you can reach out to. So I was recently speaking with a new OBM and we were having a conversation around ideal client. I always want to really emphasize with new OBMs that you don't need to know who your ideal client is right off the bat. She's got this great background in project management, a lot of transferable skills, and I was like, that's great. Tell me a little bit about what you like doing. What are your hobbies? So she loves crafting. She loves following people on YouTube who are crafters. I was like, great. Start building some relationships, start networking with other crafters in the space, and people who are working with people in the crafting industry is huge in the online space. It's actually quite interesting. Relationship building is something that you definitely have to prioritize as an online business manager. That might mean blocking out time in your calendar to relationship build and actually sticking to that. The next really big thing that I wish I would have been more focused on and prioritized as an OBM is team. I think that when we are starting off as solopreneurs, we have this notion that we have to rock it as a solo and you can't afford team and so on and so forth. And a lot of limiting beliefs come into play. But I want you to focus on really understanding that eventually you will likely need a VA or some sort of support person on your team, whether that is helping you onboard or offboard clients or doing some of your social media. Treat your business like a business and remember that you can build out a team, and that is a beautiful thing. So team growth and agency growth is something that definitely comes along later, but you have to really have some goals in mind and really get some clarity around, where am I going with this business? You know, I eventually want to maybe have children, or I want to take a vacation. I'm going to need team to man the fort while I'm gone, and to also assist me so that I can have good work-life balance and not get totally burnt out. Like, for the first couple of years of my business, I really prided myself on being a solopreneur. Like, I felt like I was invincible. And I just want to mention here that I do think that that is not a great mindset, and it's sort of like the easy default mindset. And you don't have to have team right off the bat, but just have that notion of team. Now, the other thing that's really kind of in line or in the same vein is this idea of partnerships. Naturally, a lot of OBMs will try to like partner with different people to get their business started. And even myself, when I first started as an OBM, I was tempted to start a partnership to grow my business. And luckily I had sought out the right advice, which was like, no, don't do that. You don't really need to do that. Recognize why you're needing to do that. So there's sort of this feeling of security that comes from joining in a partnership, but ultimately, in the long run, when you're building a business, you might have different ideas of what success looks like, and it can get a little bit messy. And also it takes a lot of that brain space. So it's sort of like partnership to me equals procrastination, because you're sort of like looking again for that safe launching pad to get started when you should really just get started. I mean, yes, are there great partnerships? I'm not saying don't ever enter into a partnership. Partnerships can be fantastic and amazing and really giving, but don't make that your focus at the onset of like, oh, I have to have a partnership to be successful. I see this a lot happening in our industry, and it's just not necessary. You know, once you have an established business, if you want to come together with somebody because you know what your strengths are and you complement each other, by all means. But when you're just getting started, you don't have that information. You don't have that intel about yourself. So that's why I'm saying avoid that easy default and focus on just getting started and not getting started with partnerships, right? Now that brings me to my goals, right? So you have to really set goals for yourself. Spend some time soul searching, thinking about really what you want this business to look like. Start putting out some really great goals in there for yourself and some great measures to actually meet those goals. And check out this video because I really get into the goal setting space there. Goal setting is so important to do at the beginning of every year and to sort of touch base quarterly or even monthly with where you're at with meeting your goals. But definitely when you are starting your OBM business, set some goals for yourself. You know, it might be a goal around revenue. It might be a goal around team growth. There might be a goal around landing a certain amount of clients. Think about those beautiful goals. So the other really huge thing that I would have really focused on had I been starting my business all over again would be stepping forth with a buttoned up business to an extent from the onset. So what does that mean, buttoned up business? So as online business managers, we are presenting ourselves as individuals who can manage other businesses, whether they are offline or online. But what they share in common is that they are looking for an online business manager that has their own stuff together. So that means when they're going to be vetting out working with a potential OBM, they're going to be looking at, do you have a website? Are you talking about OBM services on your website? Do you have your social media buttoned up? So I say this not to overwhelm you with like the list of all the things that need to be in place, but to let you know that your OBM clients who are hiring you at a premium price are going to do their due diligence. They are going to check you out. They're going to make sure that you are who you say you are and that you have more or less things together. And that might mean a website. It might mean a proper client intake funnel and discovery piece. It might mean social media and being consistent and having some sort of presence online. We get into this a lot inside of our accelerator program. It's all about the business building foundations of having an OBM business. It's very important for that potential client to have that trust in you. So don't put off your own business development. Prioritize your business. Recognize that part of what's going to attract the right client to your business. So don't put that at the bottom of your priority list. So another thing that often happens as naturally, you know, we're starting a new business, we're asking various people for advice. So when I started my business, one of the mistakes that I made was I asked way too much people for advice on what I should do, what should I call my business, is this the right thing to do? And a lot of the people that I was asking advice for were like family members who have no idea what the online world is like, or my friends who love me dearly, but don't want to hear me going back and forth on like, what should my business be called? So I really encourage you to find a community that can support you on this journey, whether you're, inside of our Confident OBM community, our free Facebook group, or you're in one of our paid communities. Just be specific and strategic and be sensitive towards who you're asking advice for, and really think about, does this person have any experience online? Do they know anything about this industry that I'm wanting to get into? Have they been an entrepreneur before? And really be choosy about who you ask advice from. I hope these tips have been eye-opening for you. I hope that you will take me up on that offer to just get started and just start moving forward with goal setting, building those relationships, getting that community in place, and also just recognizing that there are things that you're gonna need to do business development wise. So just start to get rolling with those pieces. And I'll see you in next week's video.